We'll straight away commence. This is today's session. Will be more interesting because we had a prelude last week. If you happen to hear the sort of YouTube, recording, I think you would have had an idea. We have given prelude to that. Basically, we have recapitulated everything so that this particular mantra, when we are going into, we will be seeing the entire gamut of the philosophical approach into the Sanatana Dharma as well as other Dharma. So from that point of view, this will be very interesting. And in fact, this mantra is going to be you will find, this first only, the rest of the mantras will also be rallying around this mantra only. That's why, it has become very important. And so second only onwards, we will be getting into the higher dimension of the human life. Welcome. We will straight away go for our proceedings. ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो परम गुरुभ्यो श्रीमदानंदतीर्थ भगवत्पादाचार्योभ्यो नमो नमः नारायण परिपूर्ण गुणार्णवाय विस्फोदय स्थितितोलय नियतिप्रताय ज्ञानप्रताय विबुधासुर सौख्य दुःख सत्कारणाय विददाय नमो नमस्ते यो विप्रलिम्ब विपरीतमतिप्रबोधान् वादान् नरस्य कृतवान् भुविदत्ववादम् सर्वेश्वरो हरिरीति प्रतिपादकं तम् आनन्दतीर्थमुनिवर्यं नमामि पूज्याय राघवेन्द्राय सत्यधर्मरताय च भजतां कल्पवृक्षाय नमतां कामधेनुवे सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सहवीर्यं करवावहैः तेजस्विनावतीतमस्तु मा विश्विदावहैः Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Welcome, friends. It was the mantra number 20. We have seen a bit, because in the before last session itself we commenced. But last week, we took a sort of prelude to the entire mantra because this is not an ordinary mantra. It has asked a very famous, very pertinent question, which you remember whether there is a soul after the life has ended. If that is so, what is happening to the soul? Is there any proof there is a soul? These are all the things that generally, we looked into. And in fact, this is, the implicit question, every religion has been asking, trying to find, is there anything, what is afterlife? That is life after death. What is that one? Because we have been learning so much about life, how to live, what is dharma, how to be successful in life, how to gloriously live in the life and all. But the life always, it's like two sides of the coin. In the coin, if there is one side, you've got an emblem, the other side also you've got something else, either the number is mentioned or something like. Likewise, that human life is on either side. On one side there is a life, and another side there is a death. Death in the sense it is a sort of a cessation of life. So whether the cessation of life, whether it continues or not, that is what the question is asked. We will just recite the mantra. We will go into the depth of it. Yayam prete vichiksa manushye astityeke na asyas iti cha eke. Because this is what the question he has asked. And he has also told, this is the third question he is asking Yama. And he is asking, Yedat vidyat anusishta. Because I wanted to take it from you. You only know that. Yedat vidyam anusishta tvam ya aham. From you I want to learn. This is what to learn. And varanamava varas tritiyaha. This is the varanama. You have to give me 3 varas. This is the tritiya vara I am asking. He is just asking this question to Yama. The question that will be arising is because a lot of bhashyas have come. In fact, all the religion implicitly they are trying to find whether there is some afterlife thing is there, whether there is a soul, whether it is existing. If it is so, in what form it is existing, how it is existing. But implicitly, all the religion have come to a conclusion affirmatively, yes, there is something called a soul. They have given a name called soul because that is thought, everyone has believed that it is existing. But whether it is immortal, like, because what Sanatana Dharma has said, or otherwise, because this is what the discussions are going on. When it has gone to that extent, if the soul is existing, and if the only religion, which has which has expressed some doubt is Judaism. Judaism is Jews. the Jews have said, because the soul may be existing, but it has not been revealed to us. Revealed, because God has not Abraham, because Abrahamic religion, all this religion, uh, basically, they are intertwined. If you see the origin of this religion, they are all having almost the same origin. The Abraham, because that mountain and the Abraham came. The Islam takes the Ibrahim, they call it, because in the Abraham has been taken as the Judaistic sort of guru also. So is Christianity and all. The Christianity has also addressed this issue, but they have said, because when after death, what happens is, then there is something called soul. The soul, then it is waits for the judgment day. Till such time, the judgment day, the judgment is, it takes, because in some faith, it is taking on the third day, like, after you get the Easter Sunday, after the, because of the crucifixion in which takes place. Likewise, in some of the Roman Catholics and all, it is after 40 days, the resurrection takes place. You are being laid and you are being resurrected. That is called the judgment day. In Christianity, they don't believe in rebirth. The soul is there, but after the judgment day, whether you are getting a eternal life or eternal condemnation, depending upon what you have done, that is being decided upon that, and that is therefore the compulsion in a Christianity is Christian life is you have to be a good person all through this life, because afterwards you don't have any chance. Either you are totally condemned, or you are totally being you get an eternal life. You get into the hell or you get into the heaven. That's all. In fact, there is one proper, because one sort of anecdote was also there. Heaven in Christianity is being guarded by Saint Peter. Saint Peter is Saint Peter Square. Might have seen in Vatican, which is a very famous square where all the mass takes place when Pope comes and any on important occasion. The Saint Peter's, he's used to normally what people are using. He's used to the language normally what people speak. So whenever he is there, and a new person comes to heaven, because after the judgment day, he has been sent to heaven. When the doors are to be opened, Saint Peter's is the guard. When he asks, "Who are you?" Normally what happens is, the in English language we call it, it's me. We say it's me. Then because he knows, who are you, because he has got the record. Like Yama, he has got the record, so he takes you in. But one professor, who is an English professor, who is very particular about grammar, how to speak and how you should be spelling it and all. It's me is grammatically, it's not all that correct. You have to tell it is I. So as a grammarian and a professor, he told St. Peter's, it is I. That St. Peter's refused to give him entry because he is always used to, it is me. So this is the anecdote they are telling. Likewise, in the Saint Peter's is supposed to be the God for them, and if you don't go to heaven, it is hell. You are condemned for life. That's why one Christian person, he came to India. He said, "Look, because we have to in this life, we'll have to deal with it. Because when we are suffering, no one is coming for our help. But when we are doing so many things, which may not be good, as per the moral values and ethical values or the religious values." When it happens, we don't have any method of getting redemption. Either you are good, go to heaven, or otherwise you go to hell. So at that point of time, he came to an Indian Swamiji. I think he came to Acharya like Pandanjay Govinda Acharya. He only told him, look, there is a possibility. It's also possible in Sanatana Dharma, we believe in rebirth, and it has also been proven by our scriptures, and there are so many other scriptures have also proven. You've got a sort of a way of redeeming yourself. Even if you couldn't, get everything in this life, there is a possibility. So likewise, then he got, because it was worried, he was worried in his mind, because in this birth, I couldn't get any redemption. That's finally I will have to be condemned forever. Because is it worth it? Because there is no point in living a life. He was just about to be getting disenchanted, but he was finally being brought back and he was given these scriptures and all. So a lot of people who have taken it to ISKCON and all, basically based on this type of the availability of the ways and means for a man to sort of develop himself into higher dimensions of the life, and the possibility not only, if not in this life, in some other life also there is a possibility. So that has been the moot point by which a lot of people have been taken into this type of a cult and they have become the followers. Be that as it may, because when it comes to our religion, whatever has come about in Sanatana Dharma and Vedic religion, we believe it's axiomatic truth. We have got the rebirth. Rebirth is proven to be sort of established. It is based on this only the entire scriptures have been developed, entire philosophies have been developed. Not only that, it has been proven time and again. Why certain things happen to a person? Why certain things doesn't happen to a person? Why a certain person comes from a particular way of in a particular family, particular way of life, but he is totally different from what he has come from. All those things can be answered only by the established fact there is a rebirth. When it's a rebirth, a soul doesn't have any death at all. It is immortal. If you see, because there is in our concept, there is no death at all. You are living. Only, you are getting the form changed. So therefore, you do not have to worry about another, because once you understand the concepts, you will not have any sort of a means of worrying about the death or looking forward to all sorts of unwanted experience which people are telling. So that is one aspect of it. And another one here, when the exposition of this entire mantra was being concerned, it has been some of the bhashyas, because even Sankara Bhashya has taken the question as whether there is a soul or whether there is a soul is existing after the death or not. This is what the Sankara Bhashya has addressed. But though it is being addressed subsequently, because they have also established, because the soul has to be taken, soul is existing. Because we have seen Nachiketa, when he has come to Yama by virtue of his curse from his father, how he has cursed from his father, he told his father, Pitodaka Jagdatrina Dugda Doha Nirindriyaha, you are giving it. Finally, what will happen? You will go to Ananda Loka, not Ananda Loka. Ananda Loka is the hell. Ananda Loka is where you will be suffering. You will be going to that. Is it what is desired? Because why should we do this? This is what he was trying to tell. So in that, because when he has questioned his father, in a fit of anger, he cursed him and he has come to Yama. So therefore, it is well established, because the rebirth is the one, because he has come as a soul. Because he is, Nachiketa, his soul is speaking to Yama. See, he has left his body, the dense body is left there and all. Once he has come, this is where exactly he is trying to question, and this has been established by the fact. And once it has been done, if the soul is there, is it, why is it soul alone is being addressed in this one? This question has been answered very, very in the detailed form. It is not about the soul alone. Soul can have different variety of incarnation, manifestation based on what you have done in the present Janma, as well as what you are carrying on based on your Papa and Punya. You will be having a different type of births, which is possible. If you are going to have if you are going to have a sort of unfulfilled desires or ambition, you will still be suffering and you will be getting that, the avidya will be still there. You will be taking one more birth. And if it is not there, you will be straight away, if you don't have any desires left, you will be going to the mukti only. So when this question has been asked, why he has been asked? He has asked this question after learning about the Swargiya Agni, which has been called as a Nachiketa Agni. What is the purpose of doing the Swargiya Agni or Nachiketa Agni? By doing that, you will be getting the benefit of the mukti when you leave the body and go to the nether world, when you are going to the Yama, because that is where, you will be getting it. So when you are getting the mukti, then only that is why, you are asked for the yajna, the Nachiketa Agni, you have come to know of it and you have practiced it thrice. Once you practice it thrice, you are going to get the benefit, when you leave the body, not when you are having the body. That's why if some of the mantras, we can think of in Kathopanishad and all, whenever they say Pratyasma Loka Amrta Bhavanti, in the sense only when you leave the body you get it, not otherwise. So when you are leaving, because how, how it, how we can say that and how it happens and all. This, when you do that, what happens? Why are you doing that? yajna, dana, tapa and all, as well as, the Nachiketa Agni. Why you are doing it? So that, your desires slowly come off. You are almost become desire free. Once you are becoming desire free, you are eligible to get the mukti. So once you are trying to get the mukti, he is just asking in this particular mantra, what happens when someone gets the mukti? So this will raise to a lot of questions. See, okay, when it leaves the body, the soul has to travel, and when it travels, when it will get mukti, what is the sojourn of, what is the way, the entire, the soul will travel. All these questions will arise. While this particular mantra doesn't address that, this has been addressed by other Upanishad, and this is also being addressed in the forthcoming Vallis in the same Upanishad. That's why when you read a Upanishad, you will not be able to see mantra after mantra linearly. You will have to go through the entire Upanishad and get across to mantras, the forthcoming as well as the one which is past. You will have to see, try to combine and try to get the full port of it. When we say what happens, when the body is okay, the soul will be going into how life after death, because is the but perhaps the subject we can take it in that. If you say if life after death, then what happens? Because when it is being scientifically been said, whenever the life is about to be sort of extinguished, it doesn't get extinguished when the soul goes out of this body and all. So when the life force, Vayu, is the one, finally he goes out. When he goes out, last week we said, one mantra for Isavasha Upanishad we have quoted, Vayur Anilam Amritam Adetam Basmantam Sariram. Vayur Anilam Amritam Adetam Basmantam Sariram. It is the 15th mantra of Isavasha Upanishad. When Vayu is the one who is the life-giving force because the Brahman is residing in him. Nilaya. Vayur Anilam. Anilam in the sense he is a Nilaya. He is just residing in Vayu. Through him, he gets into us. So once he gets into us, Vayur Anilam Amritam. Once he comes into this, till such time he is there, you are Amritam. There is no Mrityu. When the Mrityu is there, then he goes off. Vayur Anilam Amritam Adetam. Because when he goes there, and till such time it is there, it is there. But when he goes, Anilam Amritam Adetam, when he goes, the Brahman also goes from there. But where they go? Brahman also, when they go in the Vayur Anilam Amritam Adetam Basmantam Sariram, because the dense body will have to be consigned, it will be decomposed, the microbes will be taken over because the flesh, and because these are all the chemicals, it is made of all the five elements. All the five elements deteriorate, they cannot stand, and all the microbes will be taken. They are the new ones, they will enter. In fact, because there is those who are aware of the Parsis, they have got a tower of silence. Dongarwadi is there in Bombay, it is there. And Parsis, they have got, similar, in this context, we can see that philosophy also a little bit. Zen Avesta. Zen Avesta is the particular document, particular that gospel. It is the most important for the entire Parsis. It has been It has been revealed by 1 minute. I'll just. Padmavati. Sorry, I think there was a call. See, Vayur Anilam Amritam Adedam Pasmantam Sarira, when it is said, because he goes off, it is happening and all. See, when he enters, you are active. When he goes, the life goes off and he also goes off, then it becomes. But where they go, but when it goes, it all goes into the Sushma Sarira. It is still existing. See, Vayur Anilam Amritam Adetam is only for the dense body. That's why last week when we said, even Brahma has to get the mukti, he has to leave his body after 36 crore years of his Brahma life. He has to leave his figurative body to get the Amrtatvam. So therefore, without leaving the body, no one can get the mukti. So therefore, when you are leaving the body, your soul is still existing. It is immortal. It is in your Sushma Sarira. When you are in a Sushma Sarira, when you become a mukti, you are still existing in the Sushma Sarira. And that is the journey that is being talked about in the Garuda Purana and all, when it is being recited, on the functions, because that is after someone passes away, everyone says you have to recite the Garuda Purana. What is the purpose of reciting the Garuda Purana? The Garuda Purana is being recited so that the soul, which has to take, because the next, whatever it is assigned, because if he has given up all the desires, he will be getting the mukti. He will be going to the Vaikuntha Loka. When he goes to the Vaikuntha Loka, that is also a way. When he cannot straight away go, there is a krama mukti, because there is a steps. You cannot straight away, because you got the mukti, you will straight away be getting into the Vaikuntha Loka. And all scriptures have said, and all the philosophy have said, we will go into that. So when it is being recited, if there is any sin, that will be, because by reciting the Garuda Purana, you are warding off the soul with whatever possible afflictions that might have happened during the life, enable it to take to the next, the Pitruloka, what is called as Pitruloka. It goes to the Pitruloka. If it goes to the Pitruloka, in the sense, is it that the soul goes and resides there? It's not that. See, it is there in the Sushma Sarira. In the Sushma Sarira, when you do, because the Terevi, we call 13 days function what we have. The 13 days is the Subham, what we say. During that period, this entire, the Sushma Sarira is able to get the full potent of the soul, and it is able to, now it is ready to embark upon its journey towards destination what it has been assigned to. That is what it says. So when it happens, when you, by reciting Garuda Purana, by doing all other things, and by doing all the, we are facilitating from Preta, the soul, because the entire effect is already being passed on to the Sushma Sarira. The Sushma Sarira is in a right position. When you do, because 12-month Masikas you are doing, and afterwards Varshabdika you do that. When you do all those things, it is able to take its assigned journey, what has been assigned to it by the Almighty Brahman, not by this, because it's a karma, because based on our karma, whatever we are supposed to, vasanas, what we are supposed to get it, we will be getting it. It enables them to do. So those who have given up all the vasanas, all the desires, they get into the mukti. Even those who are trying to get the mukti, because we are doing all this, because for sannyasis and all, this 10, 13 days, it's all not required, because they are all muktas. They have already given up the desires, because for them, if you see Shankaracharya's and all, the samadhi is there for our, in Dvaita also, because we have got Vrindavana, we call it Vrindavana. So they are all being, because taken in, because they are part of the Bhumi, because once they are going into the, already they are all muktas, they will be going in depending upon, whatever is assigned destination. So it could so happen, because some of the sannyasis, might have, and once they have become muktas, it is not that always they are muktas and all. So they go into the Vaikuntha Loka and stay there and all. Whenever required, they are also being brought into this world so that, because the things when it is going wrong, yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata, it's not only he takes the avatara, he sends the acharyas here. That is how we have got the Acharya say. Shankara is considered to be, the avatar of Shiva. Ramanuja is considered to be avatar of Lakshmana Adisesha and so. Madhva is considered to be the avatar of Hanuman because Bhima and all those things what we talk about. These are all when they are there, because they are being sent in, when their requirement is there in this world. And otherwise they are muktas. Once they have come, they do their job, they create, enough of wealth of the information, knowledge, they give it to everyone. They leave it. That's why even Ramanujacharya, because in the scriptures, even the acharyas who have come before him, they have also got mukti because, they have finally got someone like Ramanujacharya who has brought, all the scriptures, everything together, to reform. By virtue of that, by being his seniors, by being his predecessors, they have got the mukti, and those successors also got mukti. That's what, that Visishtadvaitam says. That shows once you got to the mukti, because then you are there, in the bliss, and the level of bliss, will be depending upon the type of, because there is a, as per the Dvaita, there is a Taratamya, because everyone can't be the acharyas of that. There are so many people, who could have been led a very good life, but they may not be of that order. They may be having what is really happening to them, whatever this their level of happening, but it's also a mukti. In mukti also different categories will be there. Krama mukti. In fact, if you remember, we said, once as per our once you reach the Swarga, once you have completely desireless, you have become anything and all, you remain in Swarga for one manvantara. He said, 30 crores, 85 lakhs, 17,000 odd years, where you have to remain there. And after that, you go to the Vaikuntha Loka, Brahma Loka, or Hiranyagarbha, whatever it is there, you are going there. It is a krama mukti. You have to go step by step. So when you have to do that, because all these functions, whatever we observe, that all enables the soul to be ready to undertake its journey without any sort of a problem in that. So this particular mantra, while it is talking about what is happening to the liberated jivas, mukta jivas, they are still in the control. What is happening? That is what, this mantra is talking about. For that, because the host of pramanas are given. You may ask why pramana to be given, because why you are telling, that mantra says it is only for the mukta jivas. But it is not so simple, because when you read the mantra Ayam Prete Vichiksa Manushya, when you say Prete, because normally what common and parlance we understand, it is only lifeless body. How can you say it is referring to the mukta? And then there is the Ramanujacharya has given one great exposition in his Sri Bhashyam. The first chapter and second prakarana and the 12th mantra is given, because while Ramanujacharya has not commented on the Upanishad, because it is Rangaramanuja, one great Mahan, he has commented on all the Upanishads in Vishnadvaita stream. But Ramanuja has dealt with all the Upanishad Shrutis and all the Vakyas in something called Sara, Tattva Sara. When Tattva Saram is there, in that he has given, it is coming as a part of the Sri Bhashya. In that, he has gone through the entire thing. He says, because he gives three basic fundamental, the proof for that. First, when Nachiketa has told his father, if you are going to do that, you will be going to hell. That itself shows the travel, the soul has got the other life. So it cannot be the question. It is a fundamental question. All of us know we have got a rebirth, based on karma, we are again coming to this world and all. The second is he wants to Swargiya Agni. He wants to learn that. What is the purpose of thrice? You will have to do that. So by doing that, what happens? You will be getting the benefit when you leave the body. That means soul will have to get the benefit of it. So therefore, it cannot also be. So it is finally, when you, as per the Visishtadvaita, finally when you go to the Mukti, you are almost having the same qualities, same qualities in the sense, intuitive bliss. It's not that you become a Brahman and all. Intuitive bliss, what Brahman can experience, same is available to you. That is what Paramapadam, what we call it. The Paramapadam is you have the same bliss. Only thing is, he is having the Lakshmi with him, Vibhu. She is there. So with that, because he is on the Kshirasagara, Kshirabdi Sagara, he has got, the Lakshmi with him, and you don't have that. That's all. And in fact, as per the Visitadvaita stream, because Sri Tattva, what he says, when he creates, he also looks at the indication of Lakshmi. Ingita Anusarena he creates, because what he deserves based on his vasanas and all. So what happens is human life also you are doing, you are going by the indication given by your tayar only. Whatever you have to do for everything, it is a tayar who guides you like that. It is happens because that is how the concept has been developed. So it is like that. Same because the Madhvacharya also taken the stance. He said it can never be about the Preta soul or anything. It's only about the Mukta Jiva. Mukta Jiva, when he gets liberated in the sense, the soul, because when we say Antar Bahishcha Sarvam Vyaptum Narayana, because everywhere Narayana is there, he is also there. He is also in the inverted lotus, in the Guhyam, he is there. He is the Hitra Nivasam. He is there inside the heart. He is in a Sushma, because in a point it is there. So what happens when, because when it happens, he gets into the Sushma Sarira he resides. So for the Mukta Jivas also, he still resides, he controls the Sushma Sarira of the Mukta Jivas. So when the Mukta Jivas finally they get the last, the Paramapatam when they get and all, they are being liberated there. Even the Sushma Sarira also gets liberated there. For that we will see there is a Pramana is there because there is one Taitreya Brahmana is there. Taitreya Brahmana is also talking about the entire this Kathopanishad what is being talked about. For exactly for this question, he asks how I will be able to get liberated from Punarmrityu. Punarmrityu, this first Mrityu is when you are leaving the dense body. The second Mrityu is when the Sushma Sarira, the God still controls you, liberated Jiva, who has been, he is highly evolved Jiva, he doesn't have any desires, he is a Mukta. There also, finally, when after the Krama, because the Krama Mukti after the period, when he gets liberated, he almost till such time, he is there and he gets liberated from there. That is Punarmrityu. That Punarmrityu also, that there also, is Mrityu is then you get the Amrtatvam there. That finally Paramapadam you reach. That's what it says. So this is what exactly it is being said. Even in the Advaita also, you become part of the consciousness because your entire, your knowledge is based on the consciousness. Even your Sushma Sarira, whatever consciousness is there, that is also left. Okay, it also goes off. So if it all goes off, what happens to the soul? So in the Mukta Jivas, they don't have any Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam, it is not there. Once it becomes there, they are all, because they are in the vicinity of the God, they are all there in the state of the existence, dormant existence. When the Pralaya takes when the new sort of creation takes place, Srishti, they will all again come back to this world. Till then, they don't have any rebirth. The rebirth also will take place like Yata Yata Hi Dharmasya Glanir Bhavati Bharata. Some of the Acharyas again may have to come into this world. When things go bad, when things go sort of unwarranted, it goes in different direction. So when Avatara takes place, Yata Yata Hi Dharmasya Glanir Bhavati Bharata Tadatmanim, because then only the Avatara takes place. The Acharyas have also come when it is required. That's why in different period of time, different acharyas have come, depending upon the circumstances, what has happened at that point of time. It's not that all of them have not come at the same time. If you really see, Buddha's period is 2500 years before. 2500 years before Buddha, because he said, if you see the Buddhist literature, he has taken 17 births. In the 17th birth only, he has become the Nirvana, Buddha has become. Because he has taken 17 births to reform the entire world in a different way, finally he has come to that. Likewise, all acharyas have different point of time they have taken. Buddha is also avatara, because the God himself has taken the avatara at that particular point of time. When things were all going in and, because there was no composition of anything and the domination of people with the knowledge, were dominating, but they were not really spiritual. To bring the spirituality only he came. That's why, because this mantra is not about, this is what exactly, this exposition of this mantra is it's not about the human life and how it goes up and all. It is about the liberated soul. For that, because it's a like life after birth, life after death. What happens, because supposing if you are still having the desires unleft, which you are having some sort of a wants. Why? Because at the last moment, people say you should think of God, and at that point of time, you surrender. You surrender, everything, whatever you have done, good, bad, indifferent, everything, you surrender to Him. You just take Him. He's the final Saranagati when you do it. He takes you and finally gives you the redemption. But are everyone will able to do at the last moment? That's why it's very important. Why? Because you are able to get the mukti and all. Well, you may be doing that in the last moment, because the moment, the final moment, when you have to do, how you are going to take it up. This is what exactly, because we have also discussed, I have also posted. See what happens, when entire the last minute, you come to know what you are likely to take and all. It is like an insect. So like an insect, you are in from a one grass, you are in existing grass, and your hind leg is on the existing grass, your front leg is towards the new grass, because you still desires unleft in you. You got, because you got, still some vasanas with you. So when vasanas are there, you will have to exhaust that, by taking the birth. Finally, when you don't have any vasanas left, then only you get mukti. Because you have got, some unleft vasanas will be there, so you might have, you thought, you will become an actor or something like that. You will not become. So that maybe in your heart of hearts, the ambition will be there. You wanted to become a sportsman or you couldn't, or you wanted to achieve something, because those sort of unfulfilled desires remain as vasana, and that's how rebirth takes place every time. But when you have to give up, Saranagati is not a simple Saranagati, Vibhishana Saranagati, we see it in Ramayana and all. It is a total surrender because there is no desire left. That is not possible in the present human life, when we are being strewn with so many strings, pulling us, towards different direction. We want to achieve so many things. We are able to do something, we are still not able to do. Some of them things are very close to our heart. Someone will think, I wanted to become a doctor, unfortunately I couldn't get the seat, this and that, that maybe, in his heart of heart, a seed will be there. So till such time, he trying to get that, the birth takes place, the cycle takes place. This is exactly talked about, and this is exactly, this is in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. I think, it is very popularly taken it, and I think, in fact, there they have given a whole lot of examples how it can be how it can happen and all. Till such time you are bereft of any thought, that is not possible in the human life. In the human life, to be without any thought other than the thought which is focusing and guiding you all through. Just a see, and when when you are trying to get through and all, so you should know that what is that you are up to and all, because still you have got remnant of thought will be there, because we are human beings. Human beings having been seen, because so unaccomplished. I wanted to be someone I could not become. At least in the next birth I will become like that, because some ambitions are there, unfulfilled ambitions. And the karma is there. Karma is nothing but, because when you are able to do anything, without reference to the good or bad, indifferently, you are able to do it as a matter of duty, then it doesn't affect you. But to that, how you have to do is you develop an attitude. That attitude, will not be coming to everyone. Even the Mahans have struggled to get that aptitude, because every time, you try to get the aptitude, then it draws back to you, into the stream of life, and you will have to get indulged. And when you indulge in that, because you don't know what is right and what is wrong, you are in the heat of things, you do it. Finally, you will have to get through these things. But it's a normal way of life. But when we do in the life, when we do with the sincerity with which we are doing it, to the purpose, when you are doing to sincerity, to the purpose, and without having any sort of a want or not, so that will certainly be given you the final strength to get across to that. That is why, because in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, there is one particular chapter, it says, because how the life is being taken, by every time, finally it is like, suddenly, the last moment, how it happens. And all. It's like, your only, when the power goes off, only your auxiliary power takes over. Whether you got the sort of batteries, inside the house, and you got an inverter or something, that power takes over. When that power takes over, and you at that point of time, whatever is happening, that creates the regurgitating. That is why very often, because why we are talking about, the Namasparanam, as well as, whenever you have, even when you are in one of the not the finest of moods, talk about, the names of the god or something like that. It's not that, it takes you any change, because your being, your status, your mental sort of a frame, everything will be same, but you will be able to give a sort of a direction so that it can be weaned away. You cannot be totally be oblivious of what is happening in this world. You will have to be part of the world. While being a part of the world, you cannot dissociate, but you just be indifferent. Indifferent in the sense, when you do something good happens, you don't get elated. Okay, it has happened. Maybe if I do it little better, I can get elated. And something bad happens, then don't get drooping down. Because yes, it has happened. Maybe, what I have done, what I have understood is not correct. Let me come back again. Let me do that. When you are doing that, because without any reference to the particular job or particular obligation or particular work, without having anything, because in politics, if you go, you will have to think of, how to cut the other man out. So is in the organization also. It's a cutthroat competition now. Without referring anything to that, you within your framework, whatever is possible, you do it, and you don't get distracted by, I should have got this, I deserve it long before, I have not got it. Don't get disenchanted. At the same time, if you are getting, out of turn, even when it has come as a bounty, don't get elated by that. It has come for a purpose. Because that's when you are taking the equanimity, when you are having that approach, that is what humanly you can do. You cannot be going on doing anything at all. So when it happens, all these things, because when that is what, that Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, when it says, the how, the life after, how it proceeds, it all takes place, like, because when the generator, the power plant goes off, what happens? The entire city, the entire power comes down, because the load shedding takes place, yeah, that of area after area. Likewise, it happens. But then all the areas have got a protectors also, so that there is no surge of electricity. Your equipments don't go bad. Everything is there. So likewise, our body has also got that mechanism. But when it happens, in spite of it, once you are tuned to a particular way of looking at dispassionately to the life, it always keep your mooring to the very, very core of your heart, where, because the Hridaya Akasha, where he is residing, you are always into that, because when you are having a equanimity, you are not bothered about what is happening and all, but you will be doing your duty. You will also be suffering, you will also be happy, you will also be elated, you will also, everything will be happening, but you will not be taking anything. You will take everything as a gift of God. Anything good happens is also a gift of God. Anything, because anything otherwise happens also, it is also something he has given it with a purpose. So that is why you always, what is the sthita prajna, what you call it. When anything happens, let you be with me. When I smile also, you with me. When I have tears in my eyes and when I suffer also, you with me. That is what, finally you will have to pray for in this life. And so once you get rid of, all these, the positioning, the emotional positioning, when the emotional things goes off from you, then it becomes, you almost become like a sthita prajna. Sthita prajna in the sense you are unassailable, even if you are a very happiest moment also, you don't go overboard. And even the sorrow also, you don't dump down into the depth. Oh, it has happened to me. You are not like that. You are always trying to come back and do whatever it is. Because it's ordained, it has got a purpose for in your life. Supposing, if people have not failed so many times in their life, they would not have achieved whatever has been achieved so many years. The height of it. They've all got, even the Einstein, because he was not considered to be a bright boy in his school. He was considered to be some sort of a backbencher, but his mind was working on something else. Likewise, you cannot be, you don't look for always appreciation and the outward, recognition and all. They are all, because sort of distracting, things in this world. You go by what is good for you, even at the height of the entire, you might have seen in the Second World War a lot of the great generals. You might have heard about General Rommel. He didn't have any sort of resources. He held the entire Africa and that part of the Europe to the brim, because by sheer, his willpower only. He's of course a Nazi general. He was considered to be the general of generals, because with this very small and in fact insignificant resources, he held on to his entire area like that. That was there, mainly because he had that sort of a sort of mindset, to be with that, at any point of time. Likewise, you should not be elated by success. You should not be depressed by failure. That is called Sthita Prajna. We have got a word called Sthita Prajna in our Gita and all. Sthita Prajna is unassailable. You are like a needle. You are at the same time. You don't fall either this side or that side. You are able to hold on. Then you will be able to achieve that. When you are having that, that is what, it takes the entire thing. So this Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, when he talks about, it also talks about like that, because when everything goes finally slowly one after the things, that takes place and all. So what happens is, from this mortal body, it goes off and all, your Sushma Sarira gets fully energized. You got everything into that. So all the obscurances and all these things, whatever we are saying, is to enable the Sushma Sarira to get its appointed place in whatever way it has. Even if it has to take rebirth, it can take rebirth in a proper and appropriate fashion. It doesn't have to undergo any suffering. That's what it happens. But whereas in this particular mantra, they say, because you are not going to have any rebirth, you are going to be a Mukta Jiva. That is why, because in this mantra, when they say, it is, it's almost, they're like, you don't have to have anything about the birth, this rebirth at all, because it goes off once and for all. See, once you know that, because it is finally you are going to be what it is and you have understood that and you are not bothered about it, you are simply be doing many wants or anything like that. That is what Sthita Prajna vertical. Sthita Prajna is the one always like a needle. He doesn't waver this side or that side. That is hardly people have achieved. All the acharyas are Sthita Prajna because they know they have achieved that level. But for ordinary mortals like us, we suffer, when something which is unpleasant happens, which may be unpleasant for us, but it may be coming with a purpose. If you see your life, some of the impediments that has taken place may be a stepping stone for you going to the next step, which might not be recognizing because the God has given you so that you learn and from there you get the knowledge and you get the experience and you move forward to another dimension. You are getting into a different dimension. So when the different dimension, when it takes place, that is where you are getting into sort of your soul gets to the enabling factor. Finally, you get because the mukta jiva you become. So mukta jiva, when you become that, then you don't have any more rebirth, and I think that happens. Because once you are in the soul, once you are getting into that, when you get the mukti is almost like everything goes off from there. You don't have any more left in you. So you almost become a dormant in the sense you are sort of a mukta jivas. If any time you have to come into this world by ordain of the God or guardian of the power, that means your presence is required, you come. That's why we see some of the acharyas are born again, as in the different name and all. We've also seen some avatars takes place and all those things. So therefore, in this mantra basically talks about the mukta jivas. It is not like that, because for that it's quite a bit of discussions have taken place. And another thing is when vichiksa, when we say because the tritika eva dvitiya anu yayam preti vichiksa manushye astityeke na asti na I am astityeke, because that's what people say. Because people say either the soul exists or soul doesn't exist. This continuously goes on. This can be proven by one's experience, by one's own experience, by getting into the depth of it and experiencing every sort of that. Till such time you have got the desires and wants, and you got unaccomplished things that is there in our Chaitanya, we will be having the rebirth. And once that goes off, because when you finally surrender is because what we call Saranagati, what it call is Vibhishna Saranagati is not Saranagati in this one and all, but you don't have any more wants. And in fact, you have accomplished everything. You have got nothing left, no unfulfilled desire left in you. That is the final position which all of us may not be getting it. But what we can get is always we can get the awareness of this particular power, who is guiding us. That likewise, because in every time it happens, because then you get that, slowly you feel, okay, what I have to do, I am doing it. I'm not just bothered. Because when you do that, what Gita says, you don't expect about the results. You go on to karmanmyeva adhikarasto. You only do that. When you are doing that without expectation, that is the highest position a human being can do that. But we will not be able to, because we are seeing all around the world what is happening. He did the thing, he got that. But I did the thing, I am not getting it. How long? Because how is it? Because I did the same thing. I did the same course. I did the same. I joined the same organization, but he has got something, but I have no. I have got something, and how is it possible? Because then it is the attitude. Whatever comes, you take it because it has got a purpose behind that. Anything that happens to you has got a purpose. You think it is not unwanted, but it has got a purpose behind it. Likewise, if you see back our life, some of the things which we thought should not have happened, in fact they have given us a stepping stone for so many things. A person who might have applied for some medical and he might not have got it. Finally, he has to take up some other course, but perhaps his future has been enshrined in that. He would have taken that but we will be thinking, I always wanted to become something like that. You hold on to certain views because you have seen someone who is happening, but you are not fit enough for that we don't realize. All of us can't get into politics because we don't have the sort of attitude for that. If you want to become someone, you have to have the attitude. That attitude comes as comes as your shraddha. From shraddha as a tapas, that comes. For you, you have to put it. I can't become an artist. I can't go and act in a movie, because I don't have the talent. But I can't, be someone, I can't run a race of 1,000 meters. I cannot be, another Olympic racer and all. Because it's not in me. I can do whatever it is. But then, if I plan and try to do it, whatever is possible, the God will direct me to the right thing as long as I am dispassionate. I'm not attached to that. I take whatever comes, try to make the best out of that. That is life. So that is exactly this mantra. In fact, otherwise says, because this is what exactly Yama wants to tell him also. Because look, what happens after you get that. Mukta Jivas, what happens? He wants the third vara like this. Yayam prete vichiksa manushe. Some people say, because vichiksa, they say, it is there. Others say it is not there. Etat Dvitiya, because it is what you want to. I want to know from him. Etat Vidyam Anusishtat Tvayam Aham Varanemat Visit. I want to know from you. You will have to give me the answer and all. But he is very clever. Yama, he wants to check up, because he want to know that how you will try to, because by knowing that, what you are going to achieve. But are you eligible? You have known so far what to do and all. You don't ask me because he is testing him. Testing him. Still, if you are not eligible, you will not be able to get that. So whether are you going to get the mukti, after mukta jivas, what's going to happen, he wants to know that. And some people say, because the soul is existing, soul is not existing, he's asking all those things. He wants the full clarification from you. That is why, because in the one of the bhashyas, one of the document, which is very, very important, we will be referring to. This is see, we will be referring to Brihadaranyaka Upanishad also, particular mantra also we will be referring to. And this entire thing, because what is being talked about, it is also referred to in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, that whatever you are trying to do after the body, it has been discussed, in the one particular chapter as it is, as to life after what happens, step by step, what happens. When it happens, when finally, you come to know, you have got any more left and you are going into the Mukta Jiva, no more sort of ambition left, no more unfulfilled desires left. When you get that Mukta Jiva, what happens? When you are getting into that Mukta Jiva, you are totally into a realm which is much beyond what others can think of. So therefore, that they are also telling about the few of the steps in which the Mukta Jiva can travel and all. Here the Mukta Jiva is, because when you are finally getting into the Mukta Jiva, when you don't have any more ambitions left, when you don't have any more unfulfilled desires left, then you are eligible to get into that Mukta Jiva. Till such time you are getting unfulfilled desires, unfulfilled ambition, you will have to come into the cycle of entire birth and death. That will happen. But then, your Sushma Sarira, where you have got that, the knowledge which you are gathering, which you have gathered in all other births, that remain intact. It doesn't go off because you might have taken too many births. You might have gotten to a level, because you have got evolved into a different level. But all those things, remain in that. It doesn't go waste. They come handy for you. Then it happens what is finally to be taken in and all. So in that, because we will just, before we closing, we will just see, two sort of mantras, two sort of a thing that is taking place. When you are trying to be getting into the mukta, in a particular level of mukta, what happens is you are always talking about the one where you will not have any desires arising in you. That is, once you are a human being, you will have desires, whether it may be good, bad, indifferent, and all. So to reach that stage, what will be, you will not be giving any attention to your desires. So how that, not giving attention to desire will help you. How, because we will go little into that. We have got almost 4 more mantras that is left in this. In this, he is still not answering. Once this question has been asked, Yama is pondering how to answer in this question. He says, because whether some say, because the soul is existing, and some say the soul is still, it's vanished, it is extinguished. All these things, when you are getting into that, what I will finally get, you tell me, because I want to know from you. He is asking Yama. Yama is the final authority on that. And when you are going to have a rebirth, and when the totally rebirth is going to be extinguished, that is the stage, all the muktas will be looking for. But till such time you are getting the rebirth, how to achieve that? This is what exactly, it will be looked into. And this is a little more philosophical question than what is happening. We have got next 4 mantras. They all again elaborate on, what is happening, once you ask for such a desire. Once you want to know the desire, when you will be able to hold on without having any more sort of hold on, with a desireless stage, because it will not happen. That is Stita Prajna. That comes after a long time. Till such time when you want to do, what happens to the human body, what happens, how you take the rebirth, and how this will help you in getting the final ultimate knowledge, which is the knowledge he is looking for. Because already he knows the Vara number 2. He has already asked him, because tell him how he should be able to get, the entire, the body, mind, and intellect coming together. How you will have to get the benefit of the entire birth, that he has asked in the second mantra. Second mantra, it has given him the ways how you should go about it. This is the final one, the third vara. The second vara is enabling you to take the steps so that finally after mukti you will be able to get the benefit of it. But what is mukti, how you are able to get, that is what he wants to. That Yama is not willing to part with, because he want to test him still. Okay, mukta means it is like that, it will happen like that. It's not like that. It is not, because you got 7 steps to go and 7 steps to come. And how you will have to transcend all the steps. Finally, you will be getting the Paramapada, what they call it. The Paramapada is the one finally you get that. That is what the goal of everyone to get that particular mantra. So in this, we will just stop at that, because it will be too philosophical to proceed further. Basically what it says is, when you are talking about this particular mantra, it is only talking about the Mukta Jivas. It is not like about Prete in the sense, it is not the Prete in the sense, only the human, the grass body. The grass body goes. Prete in the sense, it has got an explanation for that. Prete should not be called as thing. It's also talking about the Mukta, how you are going to get the Mukta Jivas. And all. When the Mukta Jivas are also going to be taken, what is the purpose of getting this Mukti? What is that? Because after the Mukti, you are not supposed to be having any rebirth, redemption. After that, the soul doesn't have to take one more again, the form in the human form or any other form as it may be assigned, and suffer and get into that. Finally, what we are working for the entire thing, we will have to get the final mukti. Final mukti is finally you have to be part of the Almighty's domain, where you will be there in the crossing the Viraja Nadi, because there is a Viraja Nadi is supposed to be where you will be, Amanushya will be taking, all those things they will be telling, scripturally. And when you take, that is where, you have got into the total bliss. That is the bliss every human being, every soul is aspiring for. As far as this is for concerned, Sanatana Dharma is concerned. Because other dharmas, they have got their own views. In Jainik Dharma, what happens is, you get, because you get into a sort of there are 4 stages again that in Jainik Dharma also there are 4 stages, and so is in the Buddhist. The Buddhist also, you go through the entire thing, finally you neither exist nor you don't exist. That doesn't take place. The existence is not there at all. But it is a sort of a shunyavada. What is it? Because it is cipher. Okay, you are going towards that. That's what Buddha has preached. So that is also aspect of it. Different aspect of the philosophy, how they are seeing this stage of redemption. Redemption is when you finally don't have anything to do with the mortal body. You don't have to take the birth in the mortal body and try to suffer or try to enjoy whatever comes. The enjoyment or suffering, what we call also, it's all experiencing sort of molding us into the final stage which we really deserve. Mukta is the one which finally we deserve. Whether we are able to get that, because entire Sanatana Dharma or every Dharma finally want to get the redemption at the final stage. The redemption is the final stage. Are we able to get through this? Or if not, what happens? Till such time we take rebirth again and again. So what is the purpose of rebirth again and again? You are refining yourself. But whatever you have accumulated is there in the bank account. That doesn't go waste. That gains you to take a better birth in the next birth. And next you are able to get the best of it. And finally, when you get the redemption, you are in the Paramapada, because you are in the vicinity of the God, you are enjoy it. Enjoy it in the sense, you have got ordained duty there and all. There also you will have to do that, and perhaps you will come as Acharya again into this world, and you may have to guide when it is required. It is like that. It is the entire cycle that goes on. In the human cycle, how we can transcend and go into that cycle, that is what this mantra says. It is not simply be telling, because what you call, because the mantra simply tells, it is not that, you only get prete, you get, vichiksa, you want to know what happens. Some people say, the soul exists, some people doesn't say. The question is a very sort of a quiz. He has asked the question, not as a question, it has got a quiz. The quiz has to be explained with a different combination and permutations. That's what we have seen. And it is little, because more philosophical in approach than the Upanishad per se, because Upanishad wants to take it us to a different level. Because when we go to, after this first chapter is over, when we go to the second chapter, it will be totally a different dimension. It is preparing us for that. So with this, we will try to conclude today's session, and we will go for a small meditation. The one which we have planned last week, we couldn't do that. It didn't come out well. So this week, we will be having that meditation. With this, let me conclude today's session. And basically, what we have to understand is whatever we are trying to do, and dispassionately when we do without attachment, slowly we will be able to get evolved. Because we being a human being, we will have to have attachment, because we are in this world. How to do it dispassionately is, but not bothering about the outcome. You go on, karmanyeva atikarastu, ma paleshu kadachana, because don't expect the results. You do whatever you are doing, it will happen. For that, you have to be dispassionate. You should not be expecting anything at all. When you don't expect, things will happen on it, because you will be giving full focus onto that. Your attention will be 100% onto that. When you are expecting, your expectation will be colored. When you are expecting something, you will be doing, I should try to get this, I should try to do differently and all, it will get colored. Dispassionately, when you do, it will not be colored. Finally, it goes, everything is going to the Bhagavan. Whatever you are doing, whatever you are not doing, everything is going to him. He is the one who is taking care of. He has given you the human birth. That's what, we will also see, how great acharyas, they have said, because how the human birth is so kind of birth. He wants to take you. He has given you the human birth, and he wants to give you everything. But are you able to take it? That's what he is asking. You will also see those things in our next week. With this, let me conclude it. It's like more philosophical, and then we'll also see the practical aspect of it in the next week. We'll conclude with this. Sahanavatu, Sahanau Bunaktu, Sahaviryam Karavavahai, Tejasvinavatitamastuma Vishvidavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We will have a small meditation, a brief meditation as we have planned. Last week we couldn't do that. This week we will do it. Last week we will have to take up a different meditation. What we planned week before, we couldn't do it. We will just take.